Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited. It's been a hot minute, but I'm going to share some recent purchases I made and give you a little book haul. Bear in mind, I purchased basically my entire TBR at 1 a.m. and I'm not mad at it. I'm really excited to read these books. I have been in a little bit of a reading slump, I will admit that, but I'm very excited to just share everything that I got.
She was like a shot of espresso. She's like being bathed in sunlight. She's incredibly energetic and enthusiastic, and she had this sense of play and fun, which was incredibly exciting.
I read Normal People, became obsessed with Normal People, and just every book I have picked up since then just hasn't felt the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know when you finish a really good TV series or a really good album and you kind of sat there like, well, nothing will ever amount to it now? That is exactly how I felt with Normal People. I've picked up a few books, opened them but not really finished them, but I'll still show you. So, since I started off talking about how much I loved Normal People and how a lot of the books I have picked up recently just haven't really been at the level, I went ahead and bought another Rooney book called Conversations with Friends. Jack Edwards has actually done a YouTube reaction video to the trailer, and I'm trying not to watch it or watch any hints. I know that Taylor Swift's boyfriend is in the I think it's a TV show. I just don't want to watch it. I don't want to see anything related to the TV show because I really want to read the book first, because Rooney has a special place in my heart. She just captures real life human experiences and emotions so well, and I'm a big fan of Rooney, so I cannot wait to give Conversations with Friends a read. I've read a few pages and so far been loving it, but definitely this is high up. Like, this is probably going to be the first book that I get through again. Another book that I bought just like off of impulse was this, Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own. I'm part of a book club with Girl Up, and we were discussing, I believe we were discussing this book specifically, and I hadn't read it, and the way they all kind of described it, because it is a very like female-led group that I'm in, basically just sounds like my Bible for when I write a book as a female wanting to obviously smash the literature world. Woolf obviously did a brilliant job doing that, and I just felt like it was a piece of literature that I really needed to read. I will admit, I got through a few pages, but I wasn't like, do you know when you just weren't in the mood? Like, I just wasn't in the mood, and I definitely am a bit more of a mood reader, so I wasn't entirely like here for it just yet, but hopefully I'll come back to it and, you know, finish it in a day or something. The next book I purchased, and I purchased it because of Steph Bauer. She's a booktuber. You might have seen her channel, she's quite popular. Is this What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Robert Carver. I'm about basically almost done, and it's basically a collection of short stories, and I just don't think short stories are really for me. They're really fast to read, and you know, some of the stories are quite funny, some of them are quite deep, some of them are quite metaphorical. However, I'd be lying if I said like, oh my gosh, I'm like completely in love with it. I get why it has the hype, but for me personally, it's just not really my taste. And as a beginner reader, again, I'm just trying to get back into that habit of reading, and I have enjoyed the stories that I've read, don't get me wrong, they're brilliantly written. However, short stories aren't really my cup of tea. I like a bit of character development, and I like a really long, well, not long, but semi-long story. So I enjoyed it. However, I haven't completely finished it, and it was actually one of the books I picked up after Normal People, which is big boots to fill. So the next book I also purchased was this, All About Love by Bell Hooks. I read the first few pages and I was instantly hooked, and I was super tired when I opened the book as well, but I can't wait to read, like, I can't wait to finish this. Like, I'm waiting for a day, like I'm saving it for a really rainy day and I have like nothing to do, and I'm gonna just smash my way through this entire book, because already opening it, but Bell Hooks is just speaking to my soul, and it's very hard. Like, I feel like Rooney is the only other author that has really touched and made me or been relatable. Yeah, been relatable. So I'm really excited to like smash through this book on a rainy day with like a cup of tea and just, you know, learn all about love. So I'm really excited, and I can see why they have so much praise as an author, because their voice is so clear and just so conversational, and I feel really safe when I read their book. So I'm really excited for that. Along that same realm of discussing love, another book I got was actually called Conversations on Love. Okay, the reason I bought this, I've seen it everywhere on Bookstagram, BookTube, a few book talks, but the main reason why I got it was because the cover. I mean, look at it. Like, I love the way it's like Conversations on Love. Come on, like, it's gorgeous. I love it. And the color is so vibrant, and it's pink, and I love a bit of pink. And it's got, you know, stories by Philippa Perry on falling in love slowly, Dolly Arderton, who I have another book here by her, on vulnerability. All these brilliant authors, all with different takes on love, and I just can't wait to give it a read. I realised after reading It Ends With Us, actually, I know It Ends With Us isn't entirely a romance, however, I did find that I really enjoyed it, and I really do have a soft spot for romances, and they seem to be the category that I enjoy the most. So I'm excited to give this a read. And going alongside that, I also purchased Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Arderton. I mentioned her in Conversations About Love. She features in here. She talks about vulnerability here, but this is, I've seen everywhere on Bookstagram, and everyone sings its praises. So I'm really excited to obviously give this a read. And plus, look at that cover. I mean, are you kidding? Like, it's brilliant. I actually haven't cracked it open yet, but I'm really excited to give it a read. I heard her voice as an author is really reassuring, and just a really nice read, and I just can't wait to, I guess, learn more about love, if that's what you can kind of interpret off of my recent purchases. Another book that I bought alongside those books was this book, Writers and Lovers. The title, me. The cover, me. The plot, meh. I'm not 100% like it seems cute, but I feel like it could become cringe. However, I believe I saw this book when Hayley Pham did a video reading books for 24 hours, and it was just on my TBR. I just kept thinking of the title, and I just kept thinking of like the cover, and I just feel like it fits so well. There's even a quote back here by Madeline Miller, who says it's captivating, potent, incisive and wise. I believe Madeline Miller wrote Son of Achilles, which I will admit I haven't finished yet, but I will get back to it. Yeah, I'm really excited. The title just excites me. The plotline is low-key kind of cheesy, but I'm here for it. I love a rom-com. I love a love triangle, and I'm excited to just like, yeah, delve in. And again, this is a book that I would read on like a rainy day when I just want, you know, something comforting and warm to read. So yeah, Writers and Lovers by Lily King. Super excited to give this a read. Following that, okay, I was obsessed with this next book's TV show. Now this isn't, I guess it's technically not a real book, but in my head it is, because I watched the entire telenovela series, obviously the Americanized one, because unfortunately I do not understand Spanish, but I was obsessed with Jane the Virgin, still am. I think it's one of the best written shows ever, and in terms of plot development and in terms of character development and the relationships built and the humor and everything crazy, like everything on that show is so insane, but it makes sense, which is why I just I had to get Snowfall in. And on the back, literally it has Jane on the back. literally says her name at the top. Oh, it's backwards, but it says Jane Gloria Villanueva, and see, as seen on Jane the Virgin. I wish I could take this off, but I can't. But this one was obviously, it was really hard to find this, first of all. So I actually got this on eBay instead of World of Books. But I'm so excited to read it because I just know it's going to be a little bit, you know, a little bit smutty, but also a little bit classy. And I loved the show. Of course, I'm excited to read the book. Now moving more on to non-fiction. I only bought a few non-fictions, actually. First one is a big one that I've been wanting for so long. My Body by Emily Ratachowski. Now, Jack Edwards raves on about this book, so I just had to. And it's all about just the modeling industry and how it's impacted her mental health and the way she views her own body, especially as a model. And a really interesting take to have, and the way, you know, women's bodies are sexualized, especially in her field of work. I'm really excited to give it a read. I love the color of the cover, you know, I love the color scheme, the purple and the orange just complements each other so well. And a lot of people have raved on about it and have given it, you know, sung their praises for it. So I'm really excited to give it a read. I was gonna wait for the paperback to come out, but I don't know, I just felt like I needed the hardback because it's such a beautiful cover, first of all, and second of all, you know, sometimes you just can't beat a hardback. And it's something that has been on my TBR for literally 2 years, a year and a half now. So it was about time I made the investment. So I bought that. Another book that I got, and I actually got it because I'm starting my master's in September and I kind of wanted to get a little bit ahead of the curve. Please bear in mind that just because I have it doesn't mean I'm gonna read it just yet. But I bought this, The Content Machine by Paska. It was recommended by one of the master's students who were kind enough to let us ask them some questions. I bought this in World of Books and I was expecting it to be a little bit, you know, overly used and secondhand because that is what some of the book qualities are like from World of Books. However, this is practically brand new and I basically got it for half the price that it normally goes for. So I'm super excited to give this a bit more of a read. It's all about kind of the publishing industry, the printing press, yeah, just the theory of publishing. So I'm really excited to give it a read, learn more about the publishing industry, learn more about a world that I want to be in, you know, get ahead of the curve a little bit in terms of my masters. So super excited. And I love the cover, I love the red, it's super cute, stands out. Last book that I bought, non-fiction book, emphasis on book because I did buy 2 other things. Last book I got was this, Atomic Habits. Now, I have seen all the influencers rave on and on about this, about how it changed their life, how the way they navigate life now and do things in life now has drastically changed just because of this book. Now, I also heard the same people say that about The Secret, Why Men Love Bitches, overly hyped books. And this is definitely a book that has been super, super hyped. And I'm a little bit skeptical now because I'm, you know, I feel like a lot of the time non-fiction books, especially self-help books, have a tendency to end up being a little bit patronizing and a little bit condescending. First book actually I read of the year was this book right here, Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King, and everyone was raving about it and I read it and it was absolutely trash. It was basically a 1 star and he was yelling at me for basically not having the same ideas as him. So I was just very do I trust people's opinions now of overhyped self-help books? But a lot of people go on, say this is basically their lifestyle bible. I'm just intrigued to see if it's worth the hype. If I do learn some new skills and ideas, sure, that'd be really amazing. But I'm more so reading this just to see, you know, if I agree with some of the ideas. So those are all my book purchases. We went and picked up my sister from uni last weekend, and I'm trying to get into the habit now of buying magazines again because it's something I used to do. I used to collect J14 all the time. I just love reading about celebrity culture. especially back in them days, I'm not that old, I'm literally 22, but like back in those days, like, you know, kids, or I didn't have the same access to like celebrity news and stuff, and I'd go to get it off of, you know, either the TV or magazines. So I'm trying to get back into the habit. First one I picked up was a Cosmo, because first of all, Sydney Sweeney is a queen. We love her. Hate her character in Euphoria, but love Sydney Sweeney. She's just killing it. And she's a full-on, like, what's the word, like a car technician or something. She's smashing it. She looks absolutely gorgeous on the cover, like, come on now. And I was just really interested to see what Cosmo talk about, because obviously you hear about it on like TV shows and you hear people make jokes, but I was just really intrigued to see what kind of content they create, especially as I work towards together my own magazine with platforms. So I'm interested to see what they've done and how they've laid it out and the articles they have. And finally, so if you can see in the back, I have, that's the first Vogue I ever bought. I know it's really recent because it's got Zendaya on it. I literally bought it last year. So that's the first Vogue I ever bought. But I'll be honest, I didn't exactly like read it. Like I just kind of bought it because I was like, I was in London and I was like, I want to be that girl. So I bought myself a Vogue. It was expensive, but like it was kind of low-key worth it because it's got Zendaya. But I went ahead and bought another Vogue. Actually, my mum bought this for me. This has got Anya Taylor. I know she's in Queen's Gambit. I can't lie, I haven't watched it, but she's been everywhere and she is gorgeous as well. And actually, funnily enough, I've read about 100 pages of this month or April-May issue of Vogue, and do you know what, like the writing in here is actually really good. There's a really interesting article with an author which I really enjoyed. A lot of ads, I will say there's a lot of ads, but I can't complain. I really do enjoy looking at like the photography and the concepts and the way ads are altered to fit the kind of magazine aesthetic. So to be honest, I've enjoyed like reading Vogue and reading some of the articles and seeing the way they've kind of laid out, because essentially it feels like, for me anyways, that they feel like they're the blueprint almost in terms of high fashion magazines and you know, the magazine kind of culture. That's everything on my TBR that I bought at 1 a.m. Some obviously a little later, but that is basically all my book purchases. I have a lot of reading to do. I'm just really excited to read them again. I'm gonna go back to Rooney. You know, I'm gonna read Conversations with Friends first, really immerse myself in the world of Rooney again, and hopefully that will bring me out of my slump. Thank you all for watching this video again. If you stayed till the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any other video suggestions you want to see me do, of course, welcome to comment them down below. You can follow me on social media, it's literally just my name. But other than that, have a great day. Let me know what you're reading or currently reading, and I will see you all in my next video. We went and dropped my sister off at uni. Oh my gosh. Okay, not me literally. I literally just caught all the books in my hand. Like, okay, let me put that down. Please don't fall.
She was like a shot of espresso. She's like being bathed in sunlight. She's incredibly energetic and enthusiastic, and she had this sense of play and fun, which was incredibly exciting.